Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not welcome back to Freddy Revisited. We're on Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, which makes no sense because it's not really revenge. There's nobody. Revenge is you take revenge on those who wronged you, right? Now you can say, oh, he's getting his revenge because of those people that burned him to death. Sure. But you think he would get revenge on the people who wronged him in the first one, even though the ending is so inconclusive it makes no sense. Inconclusive. Whatever. Yeah. So, after the first film made Boku bucks, Bob Shea, said, let's make another one. Wes Craven said, go fuck yourself, and walked away. So, he hired Jack Shoulder, future director of Wishmaster 2. And that one. It's better than the last two. 3 and 4. Well, I could stomach 3 before. And a writer who decided to take this film and make it gay. Yes, and I'm not saying that in derogatory manner like, oh, this movie's so gay. No, it's literally gay. And apparently it was supposed to be subtext. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Stop this review if you haven't seen the movie. Watch the movie now knowing that the screenwriter of this movie was gay, as was the main actor, who was closeted at the time, was gay, and that the writer admittedly, in 2010, admitted that he wrote gay stuff into the movie as subtext. Watch the movie and tell me if any of the stuff in this movie is subtext or if it's literally shoving it in your face. And in that context, it's weird. Because subtext my ass. I will admit, though, the first time I watched this, I did not catch it. It wasn't until years later that I started watching YouTube and they're like, oh yeah, this movie is gay. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, what are you talking about gay? And then they started to explain it. And the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, just some things of note. Well, Jesse's cleaning his room. He does a weird little gay dance. There is a dream sequence in which Coach Snyder has balls flung in his face. Dodgeballs flung in his face. And he's stripped naked and whipped with a towel. There's a scene in which Jesse is making out with his girlfriend, but then panics, runs away, and goes to stay the night at his boyfriend's house. We even get the line, she's like, someone's trying to get inside of me. Yeah, and she's female, and she's waiting for him to get mad. And you want to sleep with me. He meets the coach in this dream or whatever in an S&M club, and the coach is wearing S&M stuff. Yeah, all he's missing is the ball gag in his mouth. It's there. It's there. And the biggest thing is that Freddy in this movie does not operate the way he usually does in every other movie. He is trying to get through to the real world through Jesse. By taking over Jesse's body. That's right. This grown man wants to take over a young man's body. Wants a young man's body. Yes. Like I said, Jesse even utters the phrase, he wants to get inside me. Subtext, my big fat hairy ass. But yes. And so this is the gayest movie ever made. Gayest horror movie ever made. There are gayer movies. The Birdcage. That one gay movie with Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin. What was it? Party Monster or something? The way he acts, I'd still think that Macaulay Culkin was gay. He didn't have Brenda Song right next to him. Just the way he smiles, and I don't know. I don't judge. But yeah. So like I said, the first time I watched this, I thought this was weird. It wasn't the same, and it had no real connection outside Jesse living in Nancy's house. So, yeah. The title Freddy's Revenge doesn't really make much sense to me. But we start in what is a dream sequence with our main character Jesse, played by Mark Patton, who he didn't completely quit acting. He still does small little roles, independent movies and stuff, but after this he took a long break. Because the screenwriter, who was also gay, he accused the screenwriter of forcing him to deal with his homosexuality. So, did the screenwriter know he was gay? Like he could send, like to have a gaydar? That's not my word. That's from Will and Grace. He has a gaydar that can sense other gay men, whether they're closeted or not. That's literally what Jack calls it in Will and Grace. I have a gaydar. I can sense anyone who's gay. So, yeah. That's how he was able to tell that Matt Damon wasn't gay. Which is the most bullshit thing in the entire TV show, by the way. He's clearly always in love with Ben Affleck. And that's why no woman is ever good enough for Ben Affleck. Because he needs to be with Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Anyway. I joke, I keep. So, you see our hero, Jesse, looking like he never does for the rest of the film. He's very greasy looking, disheveled, and it's like, oh, this is his dream. So, but he doesn't look like this. I've always thought that this was they shot this, and they realized that this look wasn't working for Jesse, so changed it, but then didn't reshoot this. They kept it because maybe they spent too much money on it, didn't have enough money to reshoot. I don't know. But no. He's on a school bus, and the driver of the bus is Robert Englund. And this is the first of many appearances that Robert Englund makes in these movies where he's out of makeup. Including one in part 5 that we're going to talk about. But, yeah, here, usually it leads up to Freddy showing up. So, but yeah, he's driving the bus, and he goes past some girl's spot, and then he drives into the middle of an open field, and then it takes them to hell, and then Jesse wakes up and has the most feminine scream I have ever heard. And I like the sister's line, "Mom, why can't Jesse wake up normal like everyone else?" The dad is played by Clu Gulager, rest in peace, the father of John Gulager. And of course, he would go on to be in, I think the same year, he would be, which is weird because his hair is dyed, or he's wearing a hairpiece, because he would be in Return of the Living Dead the same year, but he's got like dark hair here, and his hair is gray in Return of the Living Dead. Robert Weasels. Yeah. He's a no-nonsense dad. I don't take shit from anything. But, yeah, so Jesse wakes up, and he's all sweaty. Then he comes downstairs. I think the sweaty thing also adds to the gayness. Because, come on. You wake up, and you're all sweaty in your bed. That's kind of homoerotic, right? I guess. I mean, if it was a woman, take my side of things. If it was a hot, sweaty woman waking up, I'd be pretty turned on. So if you're a gay man who sees a hot, sweaty man in bed, you're thinking, ooh, you know? So if it was a female, I'd be pretty, sweaty. Or she's just wet, Who knows? Who knows? So he comes downstairs and he meets Lisa, played by not Meryl Streep, though you have a hard time figuring it out. But no, this is Kim Myers, who was in Hellraiser Bloodline. And yes, she plays Lisa, the love interest. Yeah. I've also kept one thing secret, and that's the climax of the film. Climax. Because I kind of want to discuss it then. But yeah, Jesse and their love interests, sort of. They go to school, and that's where we meet her friend, whose name I do not know, and his boyfriend, Grady. One of the best characters in this franchise, and it's sad that he goes out like a bitch. He does. We'll get to it. But, yeah, he has his moments, Grady does. But, due to... They're playing a little bit of softball, and again, the subtext. So, Grady throws a ball, and it hits Jesse in the head. So, Jesse throws his ball at Grady's head. They're throwing each other's balls in their faces. Hello? And then they get into a fight, and Grady pulls down Jesse's pants. Hello? Subtext. Someone need to tell the screenwriter of this movie the definition of subtext? Because it's not supposed to be that in your face. And I know what I just said, but... So the punishment is to sit like... It's that position where you're on your... You do this. And that's supposed to be a stretching position, but that hurts your back like a motherfucker. It does. And I don't know how that's supposed to be a stretching position to help you. That hurts like hell. I have to do that, and then... Yeah. That night, Jesse has another dream. It is a dream about Freddy, and everything is melting. And Freddy shows up, and he goes, Jesse, we gotta make a deal. You got the body, and I got the brain. So this man wants Jesse's body. People talking in the hallway. Hello. Yes, this is what it is. Yeah. So I heard this has the biggest body count. Most of it's at the party later, but I don't think a lot of those people actually die. I don't remember if Dead Meat counts or not. He needs to do recounts for these, because these are... He only has the early ones. Those ones are kind of hard to watch because he's kind of just going through the motions, because it was about the kills, all about the kills back then, where he talks more about... Yeah. So, the next day, this is where the bird goes kaplooey, and the dad thinks he put a cherry bomb in the bird, but that's later, I think. Whatever, but we talked about it. He goes to hang out with Lisa, but his dad's like, "No, I told you to clean your room, to finish unpacking." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know? We have not seen this guy leave the living room couch area except for breakfast. How does he know that Jesse didn't? He didn't ask him, so he has to go up, and this is where he does a little gay dance. Me, baby, drive me crazy, touch me all night long." Hits the thing with his ass. Yeah, and then to finish it off, just as he turns around, Lisa is there. And his mom. So they start putting stuff away together, and they find the retcon diary. Apparently Nancy kept a diary, and because Grady tells him that the house that he moved into said that the girl who lived in the house saw her boyfriend kill himself or die, and then saw her boyfriend get murdered across the street, and then the mom killed herself. And they say it was in the living room. So, well, no, because he wasn't in the dream, he was in the real world when he killed her. but it's in the living room, which is where she was drunk. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it confirms that she's dead, and that the ending of the last movie, not that they cared when writing this, the ending of the last movie just doesn't, it's very confusing when you try to think of it. I don't know. So, yeah, she apparently kept a diary writing all about Freddy Krueger. Apparently. You know what would have been a better idea? Bring back Lynn Shay as the teacher from the last one and have her tell the story of something that happened, right? And that after the mom died, she moved out of town with her dad. Right? It's been 5 years, though, so... Yeah, it's a 5-year time jump, which, much like Friday the 13th, is confusing when trying to... Because this is a 5-year time jump that puts it in 1989. Right? It's confusing. Because it still looks like 1985 to me. Anyway, so then they go to this factory where his boiler room was, apparently. I don't know. I guess we never. I guess they would have rebuilt the building if it was set on fire. I don't know, but I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, we get the bird thing happens, and then they think that he's on drugs or he needs like psychological help, which again is sort of the whole he needs therapy sort of thing. Where parents that don't accept who their child is, and think that you send him to a camp or you put him in therapy and I'll fix him and they'll just be normal again, and yeah, that sort of thing. Which, by the way, I don't believe in. But I do believe my butt itches. Hold on. But yeah. So Lisa is having a party. This is where the shit goes. Well, I gotta mention the scene in the lunchroom where Grady is stuffing his face with food, and he had it in that Jesse's had enough of this bullshit. But I just leave with his mouth full, and he stomps off. Kind of funny. So Jesse shows up at the party, and he meets with Lisa in the cabana. They start getting hot and heavy. And like I said, because Freddy at one point makes him sleepwalk to kill his sister, but he stops. Oh, he does kill Coach Snyder. I forgot about that. Snyder's death, that's what's missing. Snyder's death is in between here somewhere. And like I said, he shows up at the S&M club. Snyder finds him and it makes him run laps. And then, of course, Freddy shows up in Jesse's body and kills him. The whole throw the balls at his face, towel whip, and then, yeah, that's it. And then Jesse sat there with the claw thing, because he found it still in the furnace, which I didn't mention in the first one, but don't they use the furnace? Why would you keep it in there? I don't know. They would find it when it turned on. Like I said, he goes to Lisa's party, trying to get hot and heavy, but then Freddy starts to emerge, so he freaks out and runs to his boyfriend's house. And yeah, we get that line. yeah, she's female, and she's waiting for him to come back, and you want to sleep with me. So he's like, basically like with Glenn, you have to watch me, and falls asleep, and then Grady's like, yeah, screw this, I'm going to sleep. But then Freddy emerges, and Grady is just yelling to get let out of his room. Why is the door locked? Well, Jesse came through the door or the window or something. He came through. Why is the door locked? Why can't he open the goddamn door? This has never made sense to me. It's his door. Those kind of doors, they lock from the inside, not the outside. Does Freddy have the power to make sure the door can't open? He's in the real world. He shouldn't have any power. Grady is killed off screen, by the way, because you just see the dad trying to open the door from the other side, and you see him go, and then go through the door. Jesse runs back to Lisa's place, and they have a confrontation, which, yes, does wake up the parents, but, like, he turns into Freddy, chases her around the house, and then goes outside and just attacks motherfuckers, throws some dude over the grill, and he slices and dices some of them. But yeah. You're all my children now. By the way, this is not how it should work. They completely ignored the rules to do whatever the fuck they wanted because the first one made money. So why not just do whatever we want now? Yeah. But Lisa confronts him and tries to get him to, talk to him, but he takes off. And Lisa figures out that he went to the place where they said that Krueger worked. And it's here that we get the biggest gay symbolism in the movie. Yep. This movie is about a closeted gay young man who is trying to keep his feelings inside, and he is defeated by the power of heterosexual love. Yeah, because, you hear Jesse say, I love you, Lisa. And then she says, I love you, Jesse, and kisses Freddy, which causes Freddy to, turn into coal or something. And Jesse emerges from inside of Freddy, even though Freddy came from inside of Jesse. I don't know, it's confusing. I will say the practical effects when he goes to kill Grady and he comes out of Jesse, but pretty good. Pretty good. That's one of the things, one of the shots from Freddy vs. Jason, I remember saying, whoa, that's a cool kill. Not realizing the context of that. But, yeah, so now they're together. And, yes, heterosexual love saves all. I guess. And then Robert Shea said, we need to set up for another sequel. So, even though outside of his dream, he has taken his car to school, and he's given a ride to Lisa to school, he takes the bus. And immediately, as soon as he came on the bus, you're like, wait, it doesn't make any sense. He has a car, right? He gets on the bus. They're talking about he thinks something's wrong. But then Lisa's friend, whose name I do not know, says, don't worry, Jesse. It's all over. And the way she acts and she talks reminds me of Bridget from Leprechaun 2. It's over? It's really over? No second take on that one? Okay. I haven't had a chance to revisit that. Maybe next year. That's going a little backwards right now. I'm going out of order with those. Having fun. Then Freddy's hand pushes through the girl whose name I do not know, chest, and it basically repeats the opening of the movie. Yeah. And then we get, have you ever heard a dream talking? What I did. Have you ever seen a dream walking? Well, I did. Yes, I like that song. Yeah, that's how it ends. The gayest horror movie ever made. Boy, I didn't see it the first time I watched this, but I see it now. That's just people talk about it. Oh yeah, this movie is about a closeted gay man who's struggling with his sexuality, and the evils of his homosexuality are defeated by heterosexual love. Yeah. And when people die too, for some reason, because it's still, yeah, I don't. Trying to understand this movie, I don't know, but I don't hate it. I've always found this to be one of the more underrated ones in the franchise, to be honest. And I'll go ahead and give it a low, pretty good. I enjoy it. I do. It's not one of those where people will look at it and go, "Oh, it's so weird." It's trying something different. It's not quite Halloween 3. Well, I would say it's more like Friday the 13th Part 5, wherein it's trying something new. Only the second film in the franchise, but you know. Don't worry, we will get much better in the next one, but this one, I don't know. And it's 2 in a row now that have confusing endings that are inconclusive. I mean, Freddy is conclusively defeated, but then Bob Shea said, "Oh, we need a cliffhanger to set up for another sequel." Even though none of these characters come back for the next one, I will say some of the teases in the next 3 are better. The light coming on in a little house that Craig Wasson has. I forgot his name, the doctor's name. Dr. Phil. Call me Dr. Fill You Up. No. Him in the fountain in one of them, or just the girl singing in the background hinting that maybe it's not over yet. But this outright tells you that whatever they just did completely did not work. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Nightmare on Elm Street 2? Leave a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.